The attempted assassination of Donald Trump has sent shockwaves around the world. The former president was giving a speech in Butler, Pennsylvania when shots rang out. Trump was left with a wound to his right ear, inches away from what could have been a fatal blow. But how could the fallout from the shooting impact the UK? Well, the main outcome of the attempted assassination is that it appears to have made Donald Trump more likely to win the November 5th election. Trump had already overtaken Biden in many of the polls following the current president's continual gaffes.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it.
But it seems Trump surviving the shooting and his dramatic gesture to the crowd could give him a real boost. Interestingly, Prime Minister Keir Starmer told press that he'd personally called Donald Trump after the shooting. He is reported to have condemned the attack and wished Trump a speedy recovery. Although this could be seen as genuine concern from the Prime Minister for the former president's health, it could be argued that he's getting closer to the man who could become president once again. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy also condemned the attack on Trump.
There is no place for violence in any society, certainly not any democratic society. And I also send all my prayers and thoughts to the families of the victims and those who've lost their lives.
Back in 2018, Mr. Lammy called the former president a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath and a profound threat to the international order. But he appears to have also softened his stance on Donald Trump.
The United States is our key international partner. We have a special relationship with whomever is in the White House. I look forward to being at the NATO conference in Washington in the next few days and working with Joe Biden, Antony Blinken and his team, and of course, whomever the United States choose as their president later on this year, we will work very closely with.
But what would a second Trump presidency actually mean for the UK? Well, in April, Trump's former National Security Advisor John Bolton told The Eye that the government's main concern should be Trump's foreign policy.
The main concern should be what he would do in Ukraine, what he would do with respect to NATO. And I think it's pretty clear to me, at least, that withdrawing from NATO is a very likely in a second Trump term. And I think he said with respect to Ukraine, basically, he could solve it in 24 hours, which is ridiculous. He'd get Zelensky and Putin into a room and resolve it, which is probably also pretty silly. But if it failed, of course, it wouldn't be Trump's fault. It would be somebody else's fault by definition. And my fear is it would be Zelensky by default, because certainly his good friend Vladimir Putin wouldn't be at fault. So there are a lot of ramifications, a lot of other issues on which Trump's performance, I think, would be troubling. He thinks he can make a deal with Kim Jong-un, with Xi Jinping on trade. I mean, everything is a deal for him. What the terms are, almost irrelevant, because he wants the credit for having made the deal. And I will say, in diplomatic circles, you know, when somebody says, we have reached agreement on an international issue, people say, oh, it's wonderful. And then they say, by the way, what are the terms of the deal? So Trump is really like diplomats in certain respect, is the deal is more important than the substance to him. And that's a big mistake.
So, as the fallout from the dramatic events of Sunday the 14th of July continue, perhaps we've already seen the start of the UK preparing for President Donald Trump 2.0.